everybody. My name is Donna Strobin, and I am also known as the Paranormal Therapist. I am a mental health therapist, and I guess welcome to Therapist Tales of the Paranormal. How fun is that? I do have an interest in the paranormal. I have been, I guess, submersed into it since I was pretty much born. Lots of fun things happened to me as a young child and growing up and through the years. So I do have experience with different paranormal experiences. I've had lots of opportunities, fun things, which we'll get into over time, things that have happened to me and things that I've done. So it'll be fun. The focus of our episode here is we're going to explore the intersection of mental health and paranormal experiences from a therapist perspective. And my computer made a weird noise. That kind of freaked me out. That was weird. Did you hear a noise?
I did.
I have no active things on my computer right now. This is the only thing that's active. That was weird. Ooh. So I have with me my dad, John Strobin. He also has a podcast called Exploring the Supernatural. Is it Exploring the Supernatural, John, or did you change it to with Paranormal Houston?
Now, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you can check out his podcast, Exploring the Supernatural with Paranormal Houston. So fun times. Lots of cool stuff on there, by the way. So go check it out. Listen. So I want to take off my glasses. Fun times. So, Dad, let's talk about what constitutes a paranormal experience.
Okay, well, it could be a number of things that make you aware that you are actually having a paranormal experience. But the main thing is that whatever it is, it's unexplainable under the current terms of science as we know it. Now, it may be a voice that has no body that you hear near you, and I've had that happen. It scared the crap out of me. It may be goosebumps that you get, or the hair standing up on your arm, or the hair standing up on the back of your neck, or getting chills, feeling cold spots. These are all signs that you could be having a paranormal experience. Now, a lot of times it's just a feeling that you get. As you get more experience with the paranormal, you'll learn that the feelings that you're getting can be trusted, but that's learned with experience over time. And once you have developed that, then you are more aware of the paranormal experiences you're having. I hope that answers your question.
Sure. So, do you think, in your experience, I know there's people out there that, like Amityville and all these different, doors opening and closing and things flying across the room. Is that real?
It can happen. It does happen, yes.
I just wanted to put that out there because that's actually a lead in to where we're going to be going a little bit down the road here with this episode, actually. I just wanted, from a professional experience, that coming in, not from my experience. Because I could say all kinds of things. I have so many, as you know, so many experiences. But also, so some of these things, like hearing voices, that can also be attributed to mental health issues, like schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. My brain just kind of took a break. But schizophrenia is a huge one. There's lots of hearing voices and things like that. So, but anxiety and depression and psychosis can also contribute to experiences that are perceived as paranormal when, and actually it's a mental health issue. Yeah. Do people hear voices that are actually paranormal?
Yes.
I know both of us can say yes to that. Yeah. Because I know growing up, I thought I was a crazy person. And I saw all the therapy people And they all were like, really, Donna? No, you're just imagining things. I really was not imagining. Um, but so we do need when it is my opinion as a therapist that when we go into situations where there is paranormal or perceived paranormal activity, we do need to have some kind of mental health check to make sure it's not just someone attention seeking or something like that. What do you think?
I think that is a good idea. And I also feel like that in a lot of cases, some people are diagnosed with schizophrenia when they really have psychic abilities that they just don't
Yes.
understand, and they're hearing the voices from the other side. And when they tell a mental health person, I'm hearing voices, schizophrenia,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not only that, but I think that happens with a lot of addictions too, that perhaps that they are not recognized for what they are. I, for one, am a recovering alcoholic. I haven't had a drink now since Halloween night, 1978, which is longer than probably most of the people watching this podcast have been alive.
Probably. Yeah.
So it's been a while since I've had a drink, but at the time, since then, there were times when I would joke about that the devil and I were drinking buddies. I started to turn violent with my drinking, and so I got the feeling that that I finally came to the conclusion that when I got my inhibitions subdued with alcohol, the devil was able to come in and possess me and take over and cause me to do things I would not normally do. So I'm thinking that a lot of times when we're having some of these types of events too,
Mhm.
it's a possession rather than, you know, uh, something else. That,
Been mental illness. Yeah.
yeah.
Now I know that it's actually been scientifically proven. I've actually done research on this. And it has been scientifically proven that schizophrenia has been like a kind of a catch-all, so to speak. When therapists who or psychologists, psychiatrists who do not believe in the supernatural or the paranormal world, they automatically, oh, they're hearing voices, they're seeing things, hallucinating. Okay, obviously they're schizophrenic. We need to hospitalize them and, put them in a nice little room where they can with a jacket they can hug themselves and lick the windows, kind of thing. And I know I was terrified of that for a very long time. I was terrified somebody was going to give me a coat where I could hug myself and lock me away. So I didn't talk about it a lot until I got older. And then it was like, okay, wait, there are other people that have these experiences. So it's not just me. Okay, I'm not crazy ish, you know. So, I think we all have a little bit of crazy, but
Well,
it's all good.
you're right.
Um, so there's also, talking about hallucinations, both audio and visual. Um, I think it's very important to the mental health field that we actually, when clients come to us and say, okay, I saw this, okay, tell me about that. How did that make you feel? I hate that question with a violent. I will not ask my clients ever, how does that make you feel? I will ask them, how do you feel about that? Or how did you feel when that was happening? And let's talk about this a little bit, and talk about it, a little bit to try, to see, okay, what else was going on when this happened? What were you doing? What was happening? Who was around you? Where were you at? Person, place, and thing, time kind of thing, um, because then we can just, kind of, figure out, is this actual a haunting or some kind of paranormal, or is this a mental health issue? And there is a fine line at times between the two, because you can be schizophrenic and still.
Yes, yeah.
So, it's kind of a fine line. And it's also medications are huge also, because medications can cause both auditory and visual hallucinations. So that's something else that we have to, as investigators and therapists, keep in mind, okay, what kind of medications are you taking? And then, go down the list and say, okay, this can cause this, this can cause this, this can cause this. So let's delve a little bit more into what is actually happening. What were you doing? Person, place, that kind of thing. Sleep paralysis. Have you had clients with sleep paralysis? Just out of curiosity.
Yes, lots of them have told me they've had sleep paralysis.
Yeah. I've had mental health clients. I've had several that have had sleep paralysis. And it's sleep paralysis a lot of times is the brain's response to fear or stress. I know that with some of my clients, the sleep paralysis came as a result of a fear from abuse. And so whenever this person would come near them, or that they would have dreams about, the situation, the thing that happened, the trauma that happened, they would go into sleep paralysis and they could not move. Like their eyeballs could move and that was it. So again, so what were some of the situations that you had with sleep paralysis with your clients?
Well, some of them are going to blow your mind because actually the body has a natural process to put you into sleep paralysis. When you go into REM sleep and you have rapid eye movement,
Yeah.
your body is turning everything off so that you don't react to your dreams. And that is what causes the root cause of sleep paralysis.
Nice.
Now, I can tell you for a fact that there are times when you wake up and your body doesn't realize you're awake. And so you continue to lay there and you can't move your body. You can't talk. You're lucky to breathe.
Yeah.
To be
I've
honest.
actually had that. I have night terrors at times.
But there are times, and I have experienced it myself with my brother. There was a night that I can recall in our childhood when my brother and I were sharing a dream and we were fighting spiders and we were both active while in the dream. And my mother heard the noise coming on. Our mother heard the noise, came in, turned the light on. What are you boys doing? And we were both huddled up at the foot of the bed and we're hitting spiders and stuff. So there are times when it doesn't work. And that's the reason it comes on to protect you from maybe hurting yourself, which could happen if you're having a real vivid dream. So that's what sleep paralysis is really all about and why it occurs.
Okay. That's very interesting, actually. That is super interesting. But and like you said, it is the brain's response or the body's response to keeping you safe. So yeah, that's amazing.
And why it failed on us that night, I have no clue. I don't know. I can't say that it's happened to me again, but I do know that there have been nights throughout my life where I tossed and turned and was very active in my dreaming. So sleep paralysis was not working.
Not working for you. Yeah, I have that issue. I toss and turn a lot when dreaming, but I have had sleep paralysis a couple of times, and it was very, very frightening for me.
It is frightening when you're awake and you can't move. Yes.
Yeah. And I have mental health clients that have experienced it that have been very, very afraid. And I get a phone call in the morning, Miss Donna, I have sleep paralysis. I'm terrified. And I'm like, okay, let's talk. Let's set an appointment. Let's talk. Okay. Are you available right now? I'm not available right now, but give me 20 minutes, kind of thing, but yeah, so it is actually very real. And so sometimes we do have to differentiate, okay, was this a dream thing or was this a supernatural thing? And kind of figure out what's going on there. Do you think is that an accurate assessment?
I think that's probably a good plan. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So now we're going to talk about a real life case example. So, I have a client who I spoke with the very first time, and this client, during our first session, said to me, "Okay, I've had some experiences. You're not going to believe me." And I said, "Okay, lay it on me. What do you got?" And this client says, "Well, I was living in Hawaii with my spouse, and we had some neighbors, and things got kind of rough over there. And I don't want to say a whole lot because it was something that actually made the news. Part of it made the news, but it involves a murder and body parts. And after one of the neighbors who killed their spouse was taken to jail, my client and their spouse started hearing yelling next door, and the house was empty. And their doors, cabinet doors and things like that, would start opening and closing just randomly while my client was at work, spouse was at home, and the spouse became very withdrawn and refused to go anywhere, refused to do anything, would not clean, wouldn't take out the trash, wouldn't do anything, just became complete. I don't want to say comatose, but they became nonverbal, and they became basically non-functional for the most part. Well, my client said, okay, we're moving out, and they moved to a different home. They moved into a high-rise, like a 40-story high-rise building, and they were actually on the 40th floor. And the high-rise was very expensive, so they had a roommate, and the roommate had a partner. And while my client was at work, coming home from work, and when my client got home, walked in the door, his spouse was sitting on a couch talking in tongues to the roommate's partner, trying to convince the partner to jump out the window. There was no balcony. There was just a window and then a couch. And the partner had legs over the ledge of the window. And the roommate came in, grabbed the partner, pulled him off the couch, and my client's like, what is happening? And the roommate's like, yeah, we can't stay here. We don't feel safe. Well, they left. The spouse ended up in a mental institution for 30 days, convinced my client to get them out against doctor's orders or, recommendations, signed them out of the institution, took them home. And the client woke up on 2 separate nights with the spouse standing over them with a knife. Called police. The spouse went back to the institution, and it ended up the spouse had been possessed. The spouse spent 32 days in a basilica being exorcised of demons. And there were, the last I spoke with my client, he told me that there were 32 demons.
Wow.
In this, yeah, crazy stuff. Prior to that, my client had 0 mental health issues. He had 0 paranormal issues. Nothing. Just a happy-go-lucky person. Now he has PTSD from that experience, which that is actually very real. As an investigator, do you think, your opinion, is it possible for investigators or even paranormal experiencers to have PTSD from events?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was a first aid instructor for the Red Cross for many years. In fact, I was a first aid instructor trainer. I trained instructors, and I was a rescue captain in the fire department. One of the things that I learned from experience is that regardless of how badly somebody is, they always go into shock. Now, it may be a minor amount of shock and insignificant enough that there are not going to be any ill effects to them, but it could go major. So regardless of how badly injured somebody is, you should always treat for shock. That said, I do the same with post-traumatic stress. I feel like every event that we have affect us as a person leaves an impact or an injury, if you will, on you. And it's something that you need to recover from and you need to be treated for it. And it may be a minor amount of PTSD or it may be major. It depends on how your system works. And each person is like a diamond. Anything that you come in contact with cuts a fast your diamond, and everybody's different. And we're all going to behave and respond in different ways. And we just got to learn about each other.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I agree 100%. And that's one of the reasons why I guess I became paranormal therapist, because we all need to talk about these experiences that we've had. And even when we've been traumatized, we need to talk about those experiences, whether it be with a professional or another investigator, or if you're like the everyday layperson, so to speak, or everyday human, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. It's important to talk to somebody and get that help and talk through that experience. And if the people you're talking to are like, what, you're crazy, no, there's no way that happened, find someone who will believe you and talk with you about the experience. For example, the experience that I had, that I've talked about a few times, and I've had people tell me there's absolutely no way, Donna, that happened to you. And the time I was speaking of is when we were at Tremont House, and I was levitated off the ground, and I was held there, and it was very scary for me. I still have trauma from that, that I'm still trying to work through. You were there, you saw it.
I saw it. I have trauma from it too.
I think we all have trauma. I think those of us that were there all have trauma from that event. To be honest, it was very scary. It was very scary. That was the first time I've ever been scared of the paranormal.
Well, I wasn't really afraid. I just didn't know what to do or how to respond. I was trying to, in my mind, figure out, what do I do? I can't go over and grab this thing, whatever. I can't even see it, What do I do, And my mind was struggling with it. Now, having had the experience, I know what I need to do now.
Yeah.
But anyway, at the time, I did not. I was taken totally by surprise, and I never expected anything like that to happen ever. So
yeah, I think we were all taken by surprise by that one. I mean, I have been bit. I've been, as you know, I've been bit. I've been punched. I've been scratched. I've been thrown. All those things do not bother me. I mean, do they bother me? Yes, physically they do. Mentally, it's like, it's a risk we take being experiencers and investigators. When it happens, we all get a little excited. Oh my gosh, look, this happened. We have evidence, kind of thing. But that experience, that one truly scared me. That's the one thing that truly scared me. We've done exorcisms, we've done all these things. Those did not scare me at all, not even a little bit. But that one scared me. Should it happen again, I know how to respond now. I learned that lesson very well. Know how to respond. I know what to say to make it go away.
So absolutely, that's the secret.
We're good. I know what to say to make it go away.
To be prepared for such events and know what to do. Once you're trained and you know what to do, then it's not a problem. And it alleviates your fear. You don't have to anymore because you have a plan. You know how to cope with it. You know how to deal with it.
Yeah. I even know what tone of voice to use now too. So, the mean mom voice needs to come out and put the child in its place, and everybody's happy. Hopefully. Hopefully. But yeah, providing emotional support is very, very important. And exploring the psychological explanations of what is happening. For example, poltergeist activity. A lot of times, as you and I both know, that's because you have hormonal teenagers or preteens that have all this stuff bottled up and it's expressing in other ways. Is that an accurate statement?
That's an accurate statement. They don't know how to handle the changes that are coming over them.
Yeah.
And this outward thing that I think it's just a mind thing, really. We don't develop 90% of what our minds can do. And I think that when our hormones are upset like that, that we're able to use parts of our mind that we don't normally use, and that we cause this activity.
Yes, I agree 100%. So therapy is very important for everybody. Also, so we're going to go, as a therapist working with clients who have reported paranormal experiences, I am very open-minded because of my own experiences. I'm very open-minded. So when this client called me and we were talking and he finished telling me his tale, I sat there and I looked at him because I do my my sessions, I'm 100% virtual. So, they're all just like this, kind of. And I told him, I said, and he goes, "You don't believe me, do you?" And I said, "Actually, I believe you 100%. And here's why. Because I've had some experiences similar to what you've gone through." And he sat there and he was shocked. He goes, "Wait, you believe me?" And I said, "Well, why wouldn't I believe you?" And he goes, "He has talked to so many therapists and not a single one believed him." So I think that's, that says a lot for the mental health community, that, you know, need to open the minds a little bit, a little bit more. They have open minds about all kinds of different things. Why not the paranormal or supernatural, or however you want to refer to it? At least that's my opinion. My opinion is also, it's important to balance, okay, yes, I'm validating your experiences, but how much of this is a mental health issue as well as a paranormal issue? Is it something going hand in hand, or is it just one or one the other, if that makes sense? Does that
Makes sense to me. Now,
make sense to you?
actually, I have approached several of the colleges and universities around our area here to talk to their psychology departments. And I do know that one of the local junior colleges has started what they call a parapsychology department. And I
Yes.
have tried to contact them, and I'm thinking that they might want to work with a paranormal group. And I was hoping that our group might be one of these groups that they would work with when they had things that they suspected were paranormal,
Yeah.
and want to get some paranormal input for it, because I don't know that many of them have had paranormal experiences like yourself.
Yeah.
Uh, and actually, what I ran into were closed doors. I had a number of prestigious uh, places kind of laughed me off the campus.
Wow.
It went talking to me because they're not really interested in developing this sort of relationship. So this is not mainstream science at this point. I
No.
can tell you.
Yeah. No. It is not. It is not mainstream at this point.
But I can also tell you that in the last few weeks, we've gotten numerous cases that are of this very nature. In fact, it seems like we're getting more than we ever had before. And I don't know whether it's the internet allowing people to feel like they can talk more or be
Yeah.
more free in their conversation, or seek help. They don't try to contain it themselves and deal
Yeah.
with it themselves. They're trying to bring somebody in to get some help to do some things. And uh, I can see why they might turn to a paranormal group
Yeah.
for lots of reasons. One is they could tell us anything, it won't matter. We're not coming with a white coat
Exactly. Exactly.
and
Exactly.
a jacket. And so, and once they're gone, they're gone, you know. So uh, that is an advantage that a paranormal investigator has over somebody that's in the medical field or the
The mental.
therapeutic field
Yeah.
for that matter.
Exactly.
So
And
I
it's,
think there needs to be a pairing, because this is becoming more and more of a problem.
yes, I agree 100%. And that's why I want to bridge the gap, so to speak. I want to be that bridge to bridge the gap between the normal and the paranormal, or the mental health and the paranormal, that kind of thing. I think it's very important that we do that. As for therapists on how they can approach discussions about paranormal experiences, it's very important that, if any therapists are watching this, and I do have a lot of therapist friends that hopefully are following me and watching, so that would be great. But you know, with it's a very important to, be very sensitive and, about these situations, because these clients, they're scared. That's 98% of it. They are scared. Some of them think they're losing their minds and they want help. So we need to listen with an open mind, about these experiences, and say, okay, so what was going, again, like I keep saying, what was going on when this happened? What were you doing when this happened to you? Where were you? Who was with you? Are there any witnesses? Who can, and it's not an interrogation per se, but are there witnesses to this event? and but do it with care, and not and be supportive without being clinical, because there's a way to be supportive without being clinical. And I am a clinical mental health, therapist, and that's what my master's degree is in, clinical mental health therapy. And we can separate the clinical from the supportive, in my opinion. But also ethical considerations in these cases. We do have a huge code of ethics, and the code of ethics does not approach paranormal or supernatural events at all. There's nothing in there for that. So we kind of have to use our own ethical guidelines. And my thought on that is, if a therapist out there has a client who is having paranormal or supernatural issues or phenomena that they need to talk about, trauma from it that they need to heal from, refer them to a paranormal therapist, refer them to a ghost hunting or investigative team. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm in alignment with you on that, and I think that it's important that you contact the right paranormal team. There are a lot of people that are putting podcasts out as paranormal teams right now, and they do a lot of live podcasting from the scene of where they're doing an investigation. And I think that is being sensational,
yes,
or being sensationalism in a way.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is a true investigation, that they're really trying to share information. Now, if you look at our group, Paranormal Houston Investigations, if you go to any of our Facebook pages or go to our YouTube, you do not ever see anything that has a client in it. There's nothing about a client mentioned. There are no pictures about the client mentioned. Now, the information we gather, we will share with other groups for their knowledge, for their education, for their advancement, and we will share it with the right people. Now, we do get a release to use the video, to use the audio, and to use pictures and photography that we take, and be able to present and educate people about the paranormal. But you don't see us doing anything like live investigations on being broadcast. And though there are times when I think some things that could be a fun, we try to go to some of the public places, and we're really promoting historic sites as a place for people to go if they want to experience paranormal for themselves. And there are a number of sites that you can go to that do have a haunting history. The Alamo, for one, even though they don't like paranormal people there.
Do not.
But still, the same is true of the Arizona. When you go to the Arizona Memorial in Hawaii, you're there, you get this feeling of a religious sort of feeling comes over you. You feel the presence. And I don't know, there's something that's very moving about the place there. You feel that the people that died there. I don't know how to go into it. It's a memorial, and you feel like it's a memorial. And so some of these other places are like that too. Now, when a paranormal event of a huge magnitude happens, like it happened at Pearl Harbor, or the Alamo, or the Sandstone Battleground, or even some of the battleships and stuff, the aircraft carrier, the Lexington and Corpus Christi, all these things leave an imprint. There's a theory about how this energy, when it's released like that, and the emotions that are being released create this energy about the thing. It's an imprint, and that imprint is what causes a residual type haunting, where a lot of these individuals then repeat like a motion picture, and you can't interact with them. They can't talk to you. It's the recording that is in the imprint on the ground or in the structure that's playing over and over again. So I lost my train of thought where I was going with that.
Hauntings. So, well, unlike Battleship Texas, we were there.
Yeah,
We
Battleship
saw that.
Texas. Yeah, and we were trying to promote being able to do paranormal investigations there.
Yeah.
At the time, we told them that we wanted to do a paranormal investigation. They didn't want us to do one, and then
Yep.
shortly after that, they rented the place out to a paranormal team. So
Yeah.
go for it. Now, of course, you can't get to the Battleship Texas because it's being restored. So
Right. Right. I bet you there's all kinds of activity going on there now.
yeah,
Because when things get restored or disturbed, fun things happen. Hopefully fun things happen, not scary things. But yeah, ethics, back at ethics. I know I am required by HIPAA to keep things confidential. And I know that with our group, we have, we don't necessarily follow HIPAA regulations because we're not required to do that, but we do follow HIPAA regulations, if that makes sense. Yeah. We keep everything personal and confidential.
it's confidential. There's no point in sharing it with the world. We don't need to brag to people what we're doing.
Exactly. So, some practical advice for our listeners: distinguishing between mental health and the paranormal. Well, how can you distinguish between mental health and potential paranormal experiences? Sometimes you can't.
That's true.
Point blank.
Yeah, because
So,
there's no way to really determine. I mean, you have to pretty much go by what the person you're dealing with feels.
exactly.
That's one of the things we put on our form is what outcome do you want to see at the end of this
Yes.
investigation, so
Yes.
that we have something to measure against and we know whether we've helped them or not.
Yes.
And so whatever it is that they put down is what they want to achieve. Then trying to get that for them is what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And from a therapy standpoint, trying to distinguish between mental health symptoms and potential paranormal is what kind of medications are you taking? So then the mental health therapist, which would be me, I would go through all these medication lists and check and see, okay, what are they for? Okay, now what are their contraindications? How do they work together? And do all that kind of research and do all that. And, okay, but also asking, who was with you? Were there witnesses? Did they experience the same thing you did? And, these kinds of things. So we can go through and get all that figured out. Managing anxiety and fear. Breathe for one. And it sounds so stupid. And I tell clients this all the time. I know it sounds really dumb, but breathe. Take a deep breath, hold it for a minute, or okay, count to 5, and then really slowly let it go. And then as you're and focus, okay, I'm counting because I'm breathing, I'm counting. Okay, I'm breathing and I'm counting. You're focusing on the counting and the breathing. You forget about your anxiety and your fear.
Well, most people have a fear, a fight or flight reaction to different things when they get scared.
Sure.
And so if they aren't already running,
there's that.
second to think about what steps they need to take to do it. Now, one of the things that I learned early on is fear is false evidence appearing real.
That's right.
And actually, anything that puts fear in you is not of God; it is of the evil side. So, and when you have fear, then your spiritual part of you needs to take over, and you control that fear with your spiritual part of your body because you can, and then you have nothing to fear. And the more you know about the paranormal, the more you know about good and bad, evil and light and dark, then the more control you have over your situation and less fear. You know what to do, you know how to act, you know how to respond. Just like we were talking about in Donna's case, where she had this thing where she didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Now, things we thought about it, and we know how to act based on that. At that time, we'd never experienced anything like that. Didn't even know it could happen, and when it did, we were taken by surprise, and so we had that surprise moment we had to deal with.
Yeah.
If you're looking to learn something from our experiences, get spiritual for one thing, so that you have strength and that you can, and then get educated, and then you don't have a problem with fear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew it could happen. I just didn't think it could happen to me. I was prepared for it to happen to other people, not me. But so basically, it's what we're saying here is when you have paranormal experiences or you're managing fear and anxiety related to paranormal experiences, talk to a professional to get help, whether it is another paranormal investigator or a mental health therapist. Please reach out and get that help because it's very important. So some of the key things we talked about are fear and how it can affect us, and that we need help, and that there really is the mental health does affect paranormal, and paranormal does affect our mental health. It's a two-way street. And resources for mental health support. Well, reach out to your mental health therapist. Call, I believe it's 988. Is the new hotline number for it's the entire United States. It's not just Texas, it's the entire United States. So we want to reach out for mental health support. If you do not have a mental health therapist, reach out to us. Reach out to Paranormal Houston. They can put you in touch with me, or reach out to me directly. It's all good. We want to help. We can do this. Now, as a mental health therapist, do I charge? I do. Because
gotta make a living.
Gotta pay rent. I still gotta buy groceries. Gotta pay the rent. So yeah. I am not a 501c3. So I'm sorry. I am private pay. I do not take insurance either. So I'm sorry. But I do, when necessary, needed, I do have a sliding scale. So there's that. If anyone has any stories of their own or questions or suggestions for further episodes for us, please make a comment down in the comments. Let us know. Reach out to us however you want to, via Facebook or YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the things, Instagram, whatever. We'll have the links down below for both Paranormal Houston and for me, Paranormal Therapist. So I want to thank you, Dad, for joining me today and helping me talking about our fun experiences.
No worry.
So we will go for now, and we'll see you guys again next week. Have a great, blessed day. And Dad, hold on just a minute.
Okay.